Good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, May 2nd. Time is now 7 o'clock p.m., and we will convene for a regularly scheduled council meeting. Tonight's invocation will be led by Councilman Castro, the American Pledge by Councilwoman DeKaiser, and the Texas Pledge by Councilman Garavay.
Please rise. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity for us to be able to gather here today to govern over our city and to make decisions that will benefit our citizens. We ask that you bless us and give us wisdom as we go throughout this night and make decisions for this city. And we ask that you bless our first responders, our city staff, and the people of our city that make this city the best place to live, work, and worship. We ask that you continue to bless this great city so we can be the shining beacon of light that we know that you want us to be. And we say these things in your name, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you all. Let's see. Next, we've got two proclamations and one presentation. We're going to do a proclamation for Police Week for the week of May 12th through the 18th of 2024. We're going to do a proclamation for Motorcycle Awareness Month, and then we'll have our Information and Technology Annual Department presentation. So for those of you for Police Week, Chief, who are we presenting to? All right. Good evening, everyone. Whereas National Police Week has been an observance of the United States during which our nation recognizes and pays respect to our law enforcement officers since 1962. And whereas communities rely on law enforcement officers to keep our neighborhoods and roadways safe, enforce our laws, and respond in times of crisis by facing danger and defending others. And whereas the City of Alvin is committed to honoring the valor, service, and dedication of law enforcement officers from our community and across the nation, and encourage our citizens to show their appreciation to City of Alvin officers for their faithful and loyal service to us all. Now, therefore, I, Gabe Adami, as the Mayor of the City of Alvin, Texas, and on behalf of the City Council, hereby declare the week of May 12th through May 18th, 2024 as Police Week in the City of Alvin, and further recognize that Peace Officers Memorial Day is observed on Sunday, May 12th, 2024, in honor of those police officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become disabled in the performance of duty. Thank you all for your service to our community.
For those of you who are interested, on May 15th at 9 a.m., the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office at the Sheriff's Office location is hosting this year's countywide Peace Officer Memorial Ceremony. Should be about an hour or so long, if y'all can make it. Thank you.
Next for motorcycle safety awareness. That's 3/4 of the room. Come on. Okay, This proclamation says, whereas millions of people travel across the United States, ride motorcycles for work, travel, and leisure. More and more motorcycles are on the road, especially as May marks the start of the traditional riding season. And whereas Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month was first established in 1980 by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to promote safe driving practices and reduce motorcycle-involved accidents and fatalities. And whereas all drivers bear the responsibility of sharing the road, being vigilant of passing motorcycles, and avoiding distractions. Now therefore, I, Mayor Gabe Adami, as the mayor of the city of Alvin, Texas, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the city of Alvin, and encourage all citizens to join the Warriors Bikers for Charity in giving fellow motorists and riders mutual respect and consideration on Alvin's roadways.
We love each other, believe it or not.
You ain't getting all this one.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Rock the mic. Rock the mic.
Hey, Boo. Who prepared a speech for this?
I want to thank you, Mayor, and all the city officials that were involved in awarding the Motorcycle Safety Awareness Proclamation to the Warriors Bikers for Charity. May is the official Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. With this proclamation, it encourages all motor vehicle operators to be very more vigilant for motorcycle riders. With spring in the air, there will be lots of more motorcycles hitting the streets, enjoying this beautiful weather. And remember, look twice, save a life. Thank you.
Okay, Nick, take it away. Thank you.
Council. My name is Nick. I'm the IT manager here for the city of Alvin. This is the first time the IT has had a presentation, so I'd like to start by introducing our staff. Little distorted picture, but that's okay. I'm a jack of all trades within the technology world. I have a decade of customer service, and it's kind of core to who I am. I have many years of system administrator and network administrator experience. I spent a few years as a web developer at NASA, which encouraged me to get a software engineering degree. Pretty much everything and anything related to technology, I've done it at some point in my life. Next, we have Jordan. He's our system administrator, and he services our servers and various systems throughout the city. He's been here for almost a decade, has an incredible amount of wisdom and knowledge from his tenure, but he's also incredibly sharp and hardworking. He's kind of the heart of the IT team. If you ask any of our Alvin staff, catch them in the hallway, ask them, hey, what do you think about Jordan? You can see their eyes kind of get real bright, and they say, oh, we love Jordan. And I've even had a few people be like, oh, we love Jordan, like a threat. He has notion of patience and kindness and the wit to match. Next, we have our newest member. His name is Josiah. He's our network administrator. He actually has a very fascinating background. He's what they call a white hat hacker, which means he's one of the good guys who goes and finds exploits and teaches people how to fix them. He's actually placed in the top 5% of the nation in a series of hacking competitions. He came in first place for another hacking competition that built intelligent reports for local law enforcement to combat human trafficking. He's got a degree and a laundry list that goes on and on of certifications. all of which he has done before the age of 20. He's a networking savant, and he works incredibly hard, and we're incredibly blessed to have him. Bobby is one of our IT technicians, and he's our resident extrovert. I don't know if you guys know this, but IT people are naturally introverted. His joy is infectious, and he brings that to whoever he helps. He's a quick study, and he's willing to learn whatever it takes. What he lacks in experience, he makes up for in determination. This is Andy. He's another one of our IT technicians. He is commonly known as Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I genuinely don't think I could find anybody who works harder than this guy. He's incredibly sharp and extremely eager to learn anything he can get his hands and eyes on. He has the patience of a saint and a spirit of camaraderie that's incredibly valuable to our team. All in all, I don't think I could have asked for a better team for this particular phase of Alvin's IT information technology. Really great team of guys here. We're here to serve. I've always been a big proponent of the fact that IT is a customer service industry. That's kind of core to how I run my department. I believe that all of my peers and superiors present this evening could attest that we've turned this IT department completely around for the better in many, many ways. One such example is this thank you note given to our department by a fellow staff member. Incredibly funny story. This is someone that I met on day 2. This person comes to me and says, look, you seem like a great guy, but we'll likely not get along. For some reason, we just don't get along with IT managers. And I was floored. I was genuinely floored. But I was determined, and we were going to fix that. I am happy to report that this person now thinks IT managers are pretty cool. So, great stuff there. We provide top-tier service for approximately 260 staff members across 14 different buildings throughout the city. We actually serviced over 1,500 tickets in 2023, which is generally kind of crazy to me. It didn't feel like it was that much, but we double-checked it, and that is an accurate number of tickets that we've served for staff.
In addition to all the other things that are not an actual ticket like me.
Yeah, but with our white glove service that we provide, that does wind up happening sometimes. We're there to help. Wait, while you're here, I've caught you in the hall. Can you help me with this? And I'm not going to say no. And we say, Suzanne, put in that ticket later, please. But I'll knock it out now. And they forget. It's fine. It's not a big deal. This is just a small sample of some of the stuff that we do for city staff. Most people think that IT is just making sure computers turn on and that you can print your documents, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes that you just don't really get to see. City management actually only gave me 5 minutes for this presentation. There's no way I can cover everything we do in that time frame, but if you'd like to come back and look at this slide, this will give you just a brief glimpse into our world and what we do here for the city. So instead, I'm going to actually try to do my best to conceptualize everything that we've been doing with a quick visual example. Now, this is a system that used to be in place here at Alvin Police Department. And note the excellent use of pencils to support this monitor and the tissue that was somehow like critically structural to the design of the mounting system. I like to genuinely use this picture when communicating with management of how many of our systems have functioned throughout the city when I started almost 2 years ago. There are still many systems throughout the city that function how this looks, but we're working diligently day in, day out to improve or completely replace those systems. Much how we've modernized and improved this situation here, so too have we improved many, many elements throughout the city. Things such as networking, file storage, access controls, PCs for staff, the list can go on for quite some time. And I can throw out tons of acronyms of things that we do within IT. And I could bore you all evening, but we don't have time for that. We're constantly trying to find ways to improve technology for the city of Alvin and keep it priced reasonably. And this was actually just one small, quick ticket of the many tickets that we get every day in IT. For those interested in ticket data, I had this quick graph that shows our trends for the past year. We've recently averaged around 65 tickets every week, and which varies greatly on severity and resolution time. Sometimes those tickets are quick, help Suzanne do a quick thing. Sometimes it's massive undertakings that require a complete restructure of our network to accommodate. You'll notice a massive uptick in ticket handling once we hired and trained our 3 new IT staff members. one of the leading reasons for this massive uptick was that city staff no longer felt bad asking just 2 IT guys, me and Jordan, for help. There was genuinely a couple of scenarios where like, I was just going to deal with it. I've seen you and Jordan running around sweating, and I told them to put a ticket anyways, and we'll get to it. But nevertheless, when we got our staff, they felt comfortable throwing in tickets and asking for help. Thankfully, we now have 5 people ready and willing to better meet the growing needs of staff. We're really proud of the progress that we've made, and we're genuinely looking forward to the progress that's still here to come in the near future. Any questions?
What sort of challenges do y'all face? What's y'all's biggest challenge?
The correct answer is people, right? Because that's one of the greatest security threats we face. We're constantly trying to protect staff, protect our ecosystem from malicious people trying to send people in. If I could pull back the hood for a moment and show you the number of attacks that we experience on the daily, you'd be kind of shocked and floored. So people really are one of the biggest challenges we face. It's one of those things where we're trying to teach staff that you can't scan QR codes anymore. As you can't confidently walk around and just scan whatever you want, right, without any concern. That's an avenue for attack, right? You can't trust the email that came from a Mr. Rowland or Andrew Rowland at gmail.com asking you to do something very urgently. So that was definitely one of our challenges is training staff, which we've since acquired software. We've since built a culture that they can ask me if they have any emails that are suspicious, just hit me up, we'll take care of it. But that's definitely one of the biggest challenges we face in IT.
And then final question, what's the difference between a network and a system?
Sure. So they're kind of interlinked in a lot of ways, right? Now, a system is more of a software, right? So for example, your voting system is one of those systems. Now, it does have a network component, but when we refer to things typically in a network realm, there's a great deal of communication back and forth. When you're at home, you can just hop on the Wi-Fi, it works, right? Comcast is giving you this amazing router, password, done. The networking here is incredibly complex. We actually route networking throughout all of our buildings, provide it and secure it, and make sure that nobody can intercept traffic going from one location to another, making sure that people on the same network access things that they're supposed to, don't access things they're not supposed to. And so networking typically implies the communication between 2 systems, and the systems are typically the things that you interact with on the daily whenever you access certain things.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions? That's great questions.
No? Thank
Fantastic.
you for keeping us safe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good job. Okay, next we've got public comment. We've got 3 public comments to hear this evening. The first one I'll call is Miss Becky Ullman. Becky Ullman. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm Becky Ullman. I'm the Director of Forward Planning for Friendswood Development Company. We are a Lennar company. Thank you for the opportunity to present our planned development for Kendall Lake South. Sorry, I'm a little nervous tonight. That's unusual for me. Our proposal fulfills the city's new requirements for planned development, including your enhanced park and open space requirements. We ask for your approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Kathleen Holton.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Kathleen Holton, and I live on Adu Street, where we have a serious problem. I know it's on the agenda in tonight's meeting, and I would like for y'all to seriously consider doing something about the problem that we're facing there. Constantly. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, although usually after dark is usually the worst. We have all types of vehicles coming through there, loud. A lot of them don't have mufflers. A lot of them have their radios blaring, and motorcycles that are just going as fast as they can. We did have a speed machine put up there, or was put up by the police department a couple of weeks ago, and I watched, and I could see people slowing down at that machine, and as soon as I got by it, just zoomed on by. What we've done, what has happened, is that a racetrack is now available on Adu Street. giving these people that are driving like this an opportunity to get down as far as they can, as fast as they can. I watched a high school girl, and we only live about 5 or 6 blocks from the high school, and I watched a girl with her backpack and everything, a student, trying to get across the street. She did nothing but make sure there was absolutely no traffic coming from east or west before she dared step foot in that street, because those vehicles are coming so fast she could have easily been hit. And I think she must have known that. That's why she was so cautious. In the past, there's been a stop sign at Hill and Adu, and putting that in would certainly help slow that traffic down. Past there, you still got another several blocks there that probably needs another traffic sign, but that one at least would slow that down. We've got a 4-way stop, and then we've got a couple of blocks up until where Hill is, and then more. We really need to put that sign back in. Minimum, we need to do that, and possibly study putting another one in past that towards the high school to break that up so that these people are unable to do that. And I firmly believe we need to put more. I noticed today there was a policeman sitting out there by the church over there, I'm sure monitoring traffic. And we need to continue to do that and make people understand that they are going to be caught and ticketed if they continue to do that. It's a dangerous situation. You don't dare back out of your driveway for fear that they're going to come so fast, faster than you would expect them to come, that they're going to hit right into you. So please, when that comes up on the agenda, consider doing something about this. It's a really serious problem, and I hate for somebody to get hurt or worse. Thank you.
Next, Nancy Knappe.
Hi. So I'm along the same lines as Kathleen with the stop sign. You have a light at Adu and Gordon, and then you have a stop sign at Hood, which is 2 blocks. 2 blocks. And then you have about 6 blocks of nothing. When that stop sign was taken down, supposedly it was because it was no longer effective. Well, then none of them's going to be effective if you just let people run them. I mean, that's what was happening. Everybody was running the stop sign. Make it effective. Make people accountable for their driving. So then they said it was too close to Hood. Well, why is Hood not too close to Gordon? It's 2 blocks. You come around a red light and you stop. And then you have nothing all the way to Johnson Street. And I know y'all had the machine there, and I don't know what the machine told you. Doesn't matter to me because I know what I see. I work from home. I'm home all day. I sit on my porch a lot. And I see this. We have motorcycles. We have kids passing other vehicles in the road, passing fast. You can't walk down the street and feel safe. We have a bike lane. I see families riding their bikes with their little children in their little trailers behind them. They're not safe. They're not safe. We leave the stop sign coming from Hood. We're in the 400 block. So we come down to turn in our driveway. Do you know how many times I've passed my driveway and went to Hill Street and turned because the idiot behind me was racing up on me so fast? I didn't want to turn in my driveway. My driveway is kind of weird to turn in, so you have to slow down more than regular without running up the curb. So I've passed my driveway. I asked a policeman one day that was sitting next to me if they could patrol in the evenings between like 6 and 8:30, because that's when it's bad. He told me no, because that shift change. I didn't know anybody had a 3-hour shift change, and I'm not mad at him for that, but somebody has to patrol more. Lower the speed limit, put stop signs, put something that's going to make these people understand that they can't continue to drive this way. We can't back out of our driveways. Y'all, I'm in the 400 block and the stop sign's in the 200 block. When I can't leave out of my driveway because that guy from that stop sign's coming so fast, I know better, there's a problem. That's 2 blocks. You should be able to back out of your driveway easily with 2 blocks. But you can't. You can't get through the driveway. You can't get out. And I'm not talking about the amount of traffic, even though that's gotten really insane. It's the speed of the vehicles. I expect there to be traffic. Our road goes all the way to Davis Bend Road. I know a lot of people live back there. That's how they get home. I get it. I wouldn't go to 1462 either if I could get somewhere. But somebody has to be writing tickets or something to slow them down. There's no accountability on that road. The police do come and sit sometime. I'm not saying that y'all don't, because they do. But when they sit in the middle of a parking lot, all that does is slow people down as long as they can see them. And I realize hands are tied on where they can and can't sit. I'm not saying that, but I think if it was more often and at different times of the day than lunchtime when everybody's at work, it would work a lot better. We just need help on that street, and I know everybody thinks that stop sign was ridiculous. Do what? You have 1 minute left. Okay. Good Lord. I know y'all thought the stop sign was ridiculous being there, being it's only a few blocks from Hood, but it's really not. It really did help a lot. We noticed a difference the minute it disappeared, and I still don't know why it disappeared. Why do you pick up a stop sign because people are running it? I don't understand that. We could do that with every traffic light in Alvin, because God knows everybody runs those. So, I don't know, that's all I have, but I just want y'all to please consider doing something with that street to help us out, and put the Christmas parade back on our route, please. Thank you.
That's all for our public comments. Thank you for that. Next, we have a public hearing. It's a public hearing to receive comment on the proposed annexation of an 18.23 acre tract of land and a .44 acre tract of land, both located along State Highway 6 in Brazoria County, Texas. Suzanne, anything you want to say about this?
Nope, we're just opening it for
Okay.
public comment.
All right, well then we will open for public hearing at 7:26. Anybody would like to come forward and speak? This is the first of 2 required public hearings for this annexation. Anyone? Going once and twice, and 3 times. Public hearing is closed at 7:26 p.m. with no one speaking. Moving on to the consent agenda. Councilman Garvey, is there anything you'd like to remove from the consent agenda?
No, sir.
No, Mayor.
No, Mayor.
No, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Mayor, move to approve consent agenda.
Thank you, please vote.
Councilmember Castro. Motion passes unanimously. Items approved on the consent agenda are the minutes from April 18th City Council Workshop and the April 18th City Council meeting. Item C, addendum, consider addendum number 3 for a 1-year renewal agreement with LTS Lawn Care for manicured mowing services of select parkland and other city-owned property and state right-of-way in an amount not to exceed $161,176.35, and authorize the city manager to sign the addendum upon legal review. Item D, consider addendum number 2 for a 1-year renewal agreement with LTS Lawn Care for manicured mowing services of select city-owned and state right-of-way property, including parkland, lift stations, water wells, and various buildings in an amount not to exceed $56,252.65, and authorize the city manager to sign the addendum upon legal review. Item E, consider addendum number 1 for a 1-year renewal agreement with Horticare Landscape Management for landscape maintenance services for flower beds of city-owned buildings, parks, and other city property and right-of-way in an amount not to exceed $82,772, and authorize the city manager to sign the addendum upon legal review. Item F, consider addendum number 2 for a 1-year renewal agreement with American Janitorial Services LTD for janitorial services of city-owned buildings and park restrooms in an amount not to exceed $220,340.40, and authorize the city manager to sign the addendum upon legal review. Item G, consider addendum number 2 for a 1-year renewal agreement with the Brandt Companies LLC for HVAC preventive maintenance services of city-owned buildings in an amount not to exceed $109,958, and authorize the city manager to sign the addendum upon legal review. Item H, consider a final plat of Preservation Creek, Phase 1, Preservation Creek Boulevard, Segment 1, located along the south side of FM 1462, 1 mile east of the State Highway 288 intersection, being a planned unit development of 7.225 acres. Item I, consider a final plat of Preservation Creek Municipal Utility District Number 1, Lift Station Number 1, located along the south side of FM 1462, 1 mile east of State Highway 288 intersection, being a planned unit development of .19 acres. Consider item J, consider resolution 24R18 declaring the results of the local option petition to legalize the sale of all alcoholic beverages, including mixed beverages, declaring that the petition issued on February 5th, 2024 was circulated by the petitioners through April 12, 2024, finding that the petition did not contain the required number of signatures by City of Alvin qualified voters to order a special local option election in the City of Alvin, and setting forth other provisions related thereto. Item K, consider the resignation of Missy Jordan from an unexpired term on the Planning Commission ending December 31st, 2025. Mayor?
Thank you, Dixie. I feel like we should give you a round of applause. It's a lot. Moving on to other business. The first, we're going to consider authorizing an expenditure of $119,700 for the roof replacement of the Verhalen Water Tower to McGuire Iron Inc., the interlocal purchasing system, and authorize the city manager to sign the related documents upon legal review. Hey, Brandon.
Evening, Mayor and Council. If you remember back in February, you guys, Council, approved the rehab of the bypass and Verhalen water towers. The bypass tower is now complete, and McGuire's crew mobilized in to start on the Verhalen tower. In the process of, they discovered that the steel on the roof was far more deteriorated than initially assessed, and the roof ultimately needed to be replaced. After reviewing the condition of the roof with McGuire, staff is asking for council's consideration to extend the scope of the previous contract to replace the roof. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them, and there are McGuire representatives here too.
Our initial approval was $766,670. Now we're extending it another $119,700.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The one thing I noted in the McGuire contract down in the notes was a specific point that said additional steel repair for areas in the LWL wet area of tank are not included in this proposal, and if required, repairs would be at $675 an hour plus materials. Is there any way, now I take it, is the LWL the lower water level?
I would assume the same thing, yes, sir.
Okay. What I'm curious about, is there some way that that can be investigated now, rather than us approve 119,000 and then come back later and have to approve another 100,000, which would put us at about $1 million?
I'm gonna defer that to Roxanne. Roxana, I think I have an answer for that, but I don't know that's the appropriate answer.
Good evening. Good to see everybody again. So to answer your question, we didn't want to come out and expect more changes, and we don't want to charge you for work that you may not need. So that's why we included time and materials on that lower water level area, because we're not sure if we're going to blast through that steel. There's no indications right now that that will happen, and so this is just a conservative approach to only having you pay for the work that is needed.
Thank you.
Is that okay?
Thank you. Yes,
When
sir.
was the last time that we had done repairs on this tank? You have any record of?
So I've been employed I'm on my year 22 with the city. Never that I can remember. I know in 2012, under a previous public works director and previous city manager, there was a project to recoat the tank. On the exterior.
Oh, exterior.
Unbeknownst to me, until McGuire came out and did an inspection, there was no repairs done. They just ultimately, they didn't sandblast, they didn't do any repairs, they ultimately just covered up the old exterior coating. What I like to say is lipstick on a pig.
Paint job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so ultimately that disguised a lot of the deterioration that we're seeing today.
All right.
We pretty much have a process in place right now to prevent that from happening in
Yes,
the
sir.
future.
Yes, sir. I've already got a 5-year plan with McGuire that we're gonna be following for tank inspections and cleanings. It's more invasive than what we've previously been doing.
Good questions. Any more? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve an expenditure of $119,700 for the roof replacement of the Verhalen Water Tower to McGuire Iron Inc. through the interlocal purchasing system TIPS, and authorize the city manager to sign related documents upon legal review.
Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Brandon. Item B, consider a variance request for the property owner at 1974 Job's Court to deviate from a side building setback requirement set forth in Chapter 21, Subdivisions and Property Development, Article 3, Section 37A, minimum setback lines, and through provisions set forth in the Recorded Final Plat of Forest Heights, Section 4, for the construction of a swimming pool.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So Mr. Berg is here. He's the property owner of 1974 Job's Court. So as stated by the mayor, 1974 Job's Court is a residential home in the Forest Heights neighborhood behind Harvey Junior High. Excuse me. The property owner has experienced a medical issue where his physician has recommended aquatic therapy for his rehab and continued maintenance of his injury. So they have contacted with a pool company to construct a pool. It fits best in their side yard, which will encroach approximately 17 feet into a 25-foot setback. I put this in front of Planning Commission on April the 16th, received unanimous approval from the Planning Commission. Mainly staff's reasonings for putting this through to the Planning Commission and giving it the nod was that our minimum requirements for your typical side building setback that this lot sits on is 15 feet, and the plat exceeded our minimum requirements and called it a 25-foot building setback. So as you can see, there's a generous amount of space in between the fence line, and then also a pool is not a habitable space as well. So really it's put forth in front of the Planning Commission as more of a formality than anything else. But staff gave its nod to it. They put it in front of Planning Commission, ultimately unanimous approval, and here in front of y'all for consideration. If there's any questions.
I'll just add also that I believe I know this is the second variance that we've had in Forest Heights, but it might be the third for a side pool that we've already granted within Forest Heights and stuff, and with the HOA and the aesthetics and they make sure that things don't are aesthetically pleasing and stuff. So I believe that this would be a kind of in addition to the same stuff that we've already done for Forest Heights. So
The building line setback is probably meant to not have sheds or more habitable building in it, right? Is what they would.
I would concur
mainly
with
be
that
used for, yeah.
assessment, yes.
So visually, it doesn't change anything. Yeah. Okay.
It's not on like an utility easement or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
It's just the setback from the,
That's correct. There's no utilities that are remotely close to where this is at.
Mayor, move to approve a variance request for the property owner at 1974 Job's Court to deviate from a side building setback requirement set forth in Chapter 21 Subdivisions and Property Development, Article 3, Section 37A, minimum setback lines, and through provisions set forth in the recorded final plat at Forest Heights, Section 4, for the construction of a swimming pool.
Second.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Let us know when it gets put in so we can come swim. Thank you.
Good luck with your therapy. Okay, let's see. Item C. Excuse me, let's see. Item C, we're going to consider another variance request for the Kindle Lake South Development, a planned unit development of 51.52 acres to deviate from a requirement set forth in Chapter 21 Subdivisions and Property Development, Article 6, Planned Unit Development, Section 110C6, to construct park equipment amenities after plat recordation instead of prior to plat recordation.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So, as y'all are aware, Kindle Lakes is extending further south of Kindle Lakes Boulevard on a 50-acre tract. Becky Ullman is here, and she came and introduced herself earlier in the public comment. She'll be representing this as well. So our chapter 21 of our subdivision ordinance calls for park amenities to be installed as part of the infrastructure package. And I know that council's aware of this, but just speaking for those in the public, infrastructure means our streets, detention ponds, public utilities, et cetera. So we ask in our ordinance that park equipment is installed in that package and not necessarily in the building package. Lennar, as part of previously adopted ordinance 23BB, I think that came in November, amending chapter 21, we required planned unit developments to come forth to the Planning Commission and kind of discuss, conceptual development plans, amenities and open space plans, what they also intend to put in within the amenities, like their park equipment, et cetera. Within their presentation, they also had the variants that we're discussing now. So they explained to staff that by putting it as part of the building package in lieu of the infrastructure, this will help them in the following ways that staff also concurred with them on. It mitigates potential damages caused by heavy equipment. It mitigates also the construction crews kind of working on top of one another, potential vandalism from a neighborhood that's essentially unoccupied. And the warranties will also start at a later point, which helps the developer as well, because the park equipment would kind of be sitting there collecting a warranty, getting beat up by the sun rays, potentially vandalized, and it's within a warranty period where nobody's occupying the neighborhood. So we understood that. We put it forth to the Planning Commission. They also voted unanimously in favor of it. I also asked Planning Commission if we would like to change the ordinance to reflect perhaps, modifying it based off these comments that were made, and they explicitly kind of wanted to keep it as a variance process because they appreciated the fact that the developer came in, asked a question up front, and overall they appreciated that. So they would like to just keep it as is.
I know when I was on Planning Commission, I think Kiko, you were there with me, we had changed some of that. We wanted to prevent a community coming in saying they're gonna build 200 homes and they're gonna put the park in phase 4 of 4, and they run out of money or the housing market crashed and nothing ever got done. So the first phase, second phase that were done, they were left without anything. So, but Kendall Lakes is already massive. They already have other amenities as well, so I don't see a problem with it. But I'm glad they wanted to leave it like that, because that'll prevent a smaller development coming in and going through that process, and God forbid they get shut down or whatever it is, and those residents are left without anything. So
I'll just echo what Councilman Garvey is saying. I was a part of 2 developments, and I live in one of those developments that where financing fell through, and then a park didn't get finished, and then now it took a long time. It took a while. I do know that we're looking at the plat, and we're looking at the schematic of the green space that's being proposed in here. What is the time frame? Looking at it, is half the homes going to be built, and then this amenity is going to be installed, or are we looking at this being at the end of that phase for that amenity to be installed?
Correct. So Lennar has told us that really they just want to see us accept the infrastructure package less the installed equipment, and upon us recording that plat and at the start of building permits, the first building permit that gets out there, they'll end up installing that that park package. Am I?
Yeah, can I make one more
Sure,
comment?
sure.
There's a little bit of a chicken and an egg problem here as well. We can't really build a park until we have water that is accessible to the site. We can't put in any irrigation, test it, put in any landscaping at all. So it's really imperative for us to be able to record the plat so that we can pull the building permits so that we can actually build the thing. So again, chicken and egg, but we have every intention. This is a one-phase subdivision for us. We're gonna build all 173-ish lots in the single phase. We have every intention of pulling the permit for that work immediately upon being able to have one granted to us, because it's our desire to have this stuff in place before we have any residents move in. Thank you.
Well, she's on the record. I'm kidding. Any more questions? No? Sure.
A little bit of reassurance as well. We develop through the Friendswood Development Company almost 4,000 lots every year. And we close about 5,300 homes through the Lennar. So we're not somebody that's going to show up and then forget to show up the next day. The way we make our money is putting lots on the ground, putting houses in the air, and we're a pretty well-oiled machine. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. If there's no more questions, we'll entertain a motion, please.
Mayor, move to approve a variance request to the proposed Kendall Lake South development, a planned unit development of 51.52 acres to develop from a requirement, to deviate from a requirement to set forth in chapter 21 subdivision and property development article 6 planned unit development section 110C6 to construct park equipment amenities after plat recondition. There you go. Instead of prior to the plat recordation.
Second.
Very good. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
y'all.
Item D, consider an agreement for the roof replacement of the city-owned building located at 302 West House Street to Jayco Roofing and Construction, Inc. through the interlocal purchasing system in an amount not to exceed $114,904, and authorize the city manager to sign related documents upon legal review.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council.
Dan?
Thank you very much. So we were inspired by Brandon and his roofing project. So, but ours is cheaper, so that's good. So this is the currently known the recreation station, formerly Fire Station 1. The roof on that, the upper and lower was installed in 1997. It's been routinely repaired and maintained. It's just gotten to a point where it's end of life, and we're continuing to have water penetration during rain events. And so this is a must that we get this done, and we're asking your approval for it tonight.
Are there any questions, comments? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, move to approve an agreement for the roof replacement of the city-owned building located at 302 West House Street, Recreation Station to Jayco Roofing and Construction, Inc. through the interlocal purchasing system, tips in an amount not to exceed $114,904, and authorize the city manager to sign related documents upon legal review.
Second. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Item E, consider appointment to the Planning Commission to fill the unexpired term of Missy Jordan through December 31st, 2025. So Dixie, it looks like we've got two folks that have gone through the interview process and the application process. We've got two to choose from.
Yes, sir. Well, so I spoke with both of them. Caden said that he would forego consideration at this time.
Oh.
And Mr. Clinton was supposed to be here, but he had to go to the airport this evening. So he wanted to express his apologies for not being able to be here, so.
Thank you.
Mayor, move to appoint Clinton Mitchell to fill the unexpired term of Missy Jordan on the Planning Commission through December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And item F, discuss the placement of east-west stop signs at the intersection of Adu Street and Hill Street. So this item is on the agenda for discussion per Councilmember DeKaiser's request.
Mayor, I requested this because I was contacted by Miss Nancy Kanapi. I didn't want to mispronounce her name. And she was concerned about everything that she spoke earlier about this evening during public comment about the cars driving too quickly down Adu Street, and she mentioned that there had been a stop sign there that was removed, and she wanted to see if there was anything that could be done about trying to deter folks from speeding down Adu because of a safety reason. And she also, mentioned that even though the church that's there doesn't have services every Sunday, that it is utilized by folks. And I looked online, and it's a small subsidiary of a larger organization that allows people to rent that building as a venue, and so it does get utilized. It's not an abandoned building or a place where there are no pedestrians or people parking or anything like that in that area. Also, there's a basketball court on the corner there that does get utilized by children in the neighborhood or people that live close by. I don't know exactly who they are. I've seen people utilizing that basketball court, and I just think as a mother, what if the basketball rolls into the street and a kid goes running after it, especially since it's right there on the corner of Adu and Hill. If there was someone speeding and not paying attention, that could be a catastrophe. And I realize that's just a simple example, but one situation like that is too many, in my opinion. So I just wanted to, like I mentioned at the last meeting, bring it to council's attention, see what you guys thought about it, and hopefully we can find something. If not replacing the stop sign, maybe we can come up with something else that would help the situation that our neighbors are dealing with.
Thank you. So, this for those of you that may not have been around, this stop sign issue actually it was initiated through Councilman Arundel, and it had come up through some issues about just there was a stop sign in just the middle of the street. I don't believe it had anything to do with people were running it, and so they just pulled it because they were running out of use. When I talked to Adam, because I really couldn't remember, I called him and asked him, hey, refresh my memory. And he says traffic was a thing for me when I was a council member, just trying to create the flow of traffic to the city was something that was important to Adam. So when that was his proposal was to pull that stop sign just to flow of traffic. And I don't know, do we have any data on that intersection for like wrecks and speeding and things like that?
Yeah. Our radar trailer actually tracks speeders and counts.
We can't get a microphone over there for him?
All right, we put that radar trailer out there, and it actually does count cars and speed and produces a report. I think City Manager Rowland provided to Councilwoman DeKaiser. Just a brief thing on the speed trailer. It uses the first speed it picks up as the one it counts for. So if you're doing 70, it counts 70 even if you slow down to 20 as you pass it, right? So it counts the top speed, and then it says whether it's effective or not. So if you look at this report, it'll show that it was out there for 15 days, and it was like 68% effective in slowing people down. That's because once they hit that top speed, everybody slowed down, which is what Ms. Canopy said, they were slowing down, but it's still registered at top speed. What I was amazed at is over a 15-day period, 33,647 cars went through there. So with that said, I'm not opposed to a stop sign, but if anybody's tried to go through town during rush hour and how bad everything gets stacked back up at red lights that actually let several cars through at one time, how bad would it be at a stop sign? That's something like 2,000 cars a day is what goes through there. It only registered 16 speeders the entire time it was there. Top speed was 50. And I'm pretty sure that was probably a squad car, basically at the time of the morning and, pulling other cars up. We have written several tickets out there. Most of them were for registration and that kind of stuff, but then they had to be going slow enough for people to read that little sticker. I'm not opposed, like I said, I'm not opposed to figuring out a way to slow traffic down through there, but 33,000 cars.
Does it-
I mean, that's what I'm counting. I would suggest that we have the street department put one of their covert devices out there that can measure speed, or in fact, the PD has one. This little hose across the street. It does the same thing as a radar trailer without displaying a speed. So it would count the cars and tell you the speeds and time of day.
Is there any way with the radar trailer to collect data on if someone slows down when they see it and then speeds up after they pass it? It only tracks it one way?
It's a singular direct. Well, I say it's a singular direction because it'll get you coming towards the sign and going away from it, but only on the one side of the sign, right? It's not a omnidirectional device. So it could tell if somebody passed it and sped up the same way the radar is facing, but not if they saw how slow they could go or how fast they go and then got past. So in other words, it only faces one way. So no.
Okay,
You'd
so
have
the
to have
data
two radar trailers for that.
reflects only one direction of traffic.
No, it counts. It tells you all the traffic that pass.
Oh, I see.
Easiest way to do it.
One
I don't get my
direction
pen
that's
out and start
approaching.
drawing. But say this is the radar trailer that's facing you. If you're coming this way, it'll get you. And if you pass it, as soon as you get to where that radar cone is, it will get you again. So that's how it counts the cars.
But it doesn't
So
pick up anything behind it.
doesn't pick up anything behind it.
Okay.
So
Does the camera go straight ahead or does it angle?
what?
Does the camera just face, like, you said a cone, but like, is it like just a one dot that it passes through, or like,
No,
because it's coming towards you?
Okay,
Right?
Yeah, quick physics lesson type thing here. Okay, the radar comes out, and this is the radar, not the LiDAR. It's not the laser, it's the radar. It comes out basically, think of sound waves, right? The farther it goes out, the wider the pattern, right? The closer it comes in, the less. So that's how a regular radar works, okay? So it picks up cars anywhere within that cone, and the strongest signal is the one it's done. So if somebody's coming this way and going this way, it could potentially miss the car going away because the one coming toward it has a bigger signature because it has more to reflect the radar beam at. So that 33,000 cars may be low. I don't know. But I do know that our radar trailer broke when we moved it because it wouldn't work when we got to the next location. So we're having to get it serviced. It's not your fault. I think it's just, I had that thing refurbished and redone in 2011 or 2013 when I first came here. And so it's been worn. So, but like I say, I would suggest, and I don't know what the engineering department, street department did, but I would suggest putting one of the covert traffic counters out there that also will give you the same report, kind of like this, to see what it is, and then actually get an accurate count on the cars, and then make a decision then, because I mean, 33,000 cars, that's a lot of cars going through there, and if they have to stop every couple of blocks.
Took the stop signs down?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I didn't do anything back then. I don't know if somebody did something before Councilmember Arundel had come in. I don't remember doing anything.
The people that stopped at it for like a year after it was taken out.
There's people that still do that.
Yeah.
There's people that still do that.
I'm there, my office is in town, as you know, my house, I'm there in the middle of the day, school time when I picked up my son. I've never had to wait, I never saw that much traffic. I believe that there's that many cars, but I just don't think the stop sign would be that much of an impedance.
Well, that's what I'm
Personally,
saying.
yeah.
I would do the covert counter to make sure we had an accurate count, and then decide. I mean, because maybe a stop sign every 3 blocks would be more.
What's the
apropos. I
typical
don't know.
process of putting up a stop sign in any other situation in the city?
That you get with the engineering department, they do a traffic study to see if the traffic flow required one. You'd pull accident data to see if there was any accident data to bolster or refute the traffic data, and then it would be brought to y'all for a stop sign or not to stop sign.
A lot of people, when they think of the speeders, the first thing in their mind is let's put speed humps and speed bumps. And that is very dangerous for first responders, police, EMS, fire department, and it becomes very dangerous for citizens just going down the road not paying attention. Also, people say, well, look, can't we put up those strips out in the road? Rumble strips and rumble stripes, they're designed to create a noise inside so it translates up into the driver. The problem is that noise also translates out. And in a lot of places, they're forbidden from being in neighborhoods because that noise goes up and then shakes the windows of the houses. So you're slowly narrowing down from, you don't want speed bumps and you don't want stripes, rumble stripes. So you're looking at then two things: a stop sign on a major thoroughfare, because then you look at South Street, Hood Street, Sealy, and everything else that's a major thoroughfare. So then it seems like when you run out of your options, the last one then is law enforcement, doing a strict enforcement, and announcing to citizens, hey, you know, this is, we're gonna tear you up. And so I don't see many options. And I can understand it's frustrating. I look at the people on South Street and wonder how they back out of their driveway right there. And South Street's hectic too. So just whenever the discussions come up in the future, let's put speed bumps or rumble strips or whatever, that those are dangerous for our personnel as well as citizens. So I suggest, recommend asking the police department to do a strict enforcement and revisit this in 6 months, 8 months, whatever, to see where we stand.
I like the idea of putting, doing an additional study with the covert traffic count. I think that's a good idea, just to get some more accurate data to see if it's something we need. Unless you guys are just ready to put the stop sign back, then we can just do that too. So.
I don't have an issue.
I find the path of least resistance. I find the roads with no stop signs. So I'm probably 27,000 of the 33,000 that goes through that road.
Leave it off for the mayor then.
Yeah, I'm saying, I find the roads with,
Richard, don't have any
it's y'all's.
thoughts? You look like
Thank you,
you're
Chief.
contemplating something.
I'm looking at the stop signs that are there. Hood is a heavily traveled street. And I can see why one's there, even though it's a block or two off of Gordon. I don't know, I've always seen stop signs as mechanisms for heavily traveled streets. Side streets don't necessarily need a stop sign, a four-way stop. But I don't live there. I don't go down Adu very often. When I do, I'll be honest, I actually roll stop every street because I don't know where the stop signs are. A lot of the trees are covering it. There's cars parked, and I don't know that area very well. So, and I'm looking because I can't afford to pay for another vehicle. So, but they live there. They see it every day. If it was my neighborhood and I saw it every day and I would come to y'all if I wasn't a council member and I'd plead with y'all as well. I mean, you're not there. We're not there. They're there. They see the problem. You sure that data's right, Chief? 33,000 cars?
It's perfectly possible 2,000 cars a day go through there.
Yeah.
Over a 24-hour period.
But it's only one.
About to be in 33,647. Then again, my radar cutter did break when we moved it, so up to that camera part. So that's not what counts a car, but that was what broke. So that's why I suggested the covert counter. Plus,
And it's only-
let people know whether they're actually slowing the sign before they get to it, or whatever. Like I say, out of those 32,000 cars, it only registered 16 that actually were speeding, exceeded the speed limit.
Yeah, 0.1%.
But only one direction.
No, both directions,
Well,
but when they see it.
But nothing behind it.
Nothing Everything behind the sign.
Yeah, so I think the covert one would help.
And I think that's,
You got both directions.
yeah,
I,
okay.
I would suggest putting that other traffic stuff, that covert one up. Put it up when can you get it up?
How long does
Okay.
it take
Hopefully, put it up.
to get the data?
Oh, it depends how long we want to leave it up. I suggest leaving it up at least as long as this was, which was 15 days.
Okay.
Why don't we just, can we get it out tomorrow? Monday?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Monday? Monday? Wednesday? Okay. Why don't we do it for a couple of weeks and revisit it once we get the data back, make a decision then?
I think that's fair.
We have 2 studies.
Yeah. Wait, how much does it cost? Yeah.
We already have it.
Oh, wonderful. Even better. Okay.
It doesn't need a roof replacement.
So is everybody in agreement?
Yes.
so.
Sound good?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you.
So do we need to make a motion?
No, it's just discuss the placement of a stop sign.
Okay.
So we're actually gonna place a traffic counter, so there's, yeah.
Just for your information, I emailed my guys, to make sure they kept up the enforcement.
Okay. So we're good? Move on? Okay. Ladies, thank y'all for coming and telling us, we don't know what we don't know. So thank you for bringing this to our attention, and we'll stay on top of it for sure.
I don't know, double-edged sword here, Chief, but visible enforcement while that study's going on is not gonna give us the data we want.
We're not going to be out there 24/7.
Yeah, but,
This can't happen.
yeah, I know that, but,
You know, like we would love to be out there when school's getting out because the kids coming down Johnson and cutting up there, but we were over on, Heights Road today because of the issue they're having. So it would give you the normal, I would imagine. I mean, close. Or just put it this way, it'd give you the minimum. It'd give you the minimum of violations. How's that?
Yeah.
Because that's what would happen. Yes, ma'am.
Come to the podium.
We have a couple that come down our road often. Young boy, big lifted four-wheel drive truck, lights underneath it. He's crazy. He literally passes people. If we can get license plate numbers of these crazies, can we call it in? And
You
or-
can, and
but-
I have sent people out to have little heart-to-hearts with people before. Can't really write them a ticket or anything.
Right.
It doesn't mean we can't go knock on the door and say, hey.
Well, because he literally almost ran through the back of my car the other night on Johnson Street. We were going Johnson, I saw him, and I thought, oh, there's that kid. And sure enough, he came running right up behind us, and luckily my daughter was driving, so she just got out of the
Yes,
way.
ma'am. If you can do it, we'll be more than happy to go knock.
Because there are a couple that are just over the top with it. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, item G, consider if any requests from individual council members for any item or items to be placed on the upcoming agenda for the next regularly scheduled meeting. Richard, you got anything?
No, sir. Yes, Mayor, I have one item. I've received several complaints via email from residents, not in one particular area, but having to do with road conditions within District A. And the concern is about on the road conditions that they have the potential of causing an accident, or because of potholes, or that they're uneven, or that there's gaps or spaces. The roads are in bad condition. So as a part of that, as well as getting an update on the 528 extension, I know that this has been discussed considerably with City Council for and updates in the past well over 20 years. I see this as a very big safety issue, as well as we're about to start hurricane season, and we need to address something. We need to come up with some certain deadlines. And I'd like to have this not put on a council agenda, but actually have this on a workshop and give this an ample amount of time for the engineering to put together just a real brief overview as what has been, we have done for the past 20 years as a part of this project, as well as how much money we have spent on engineering and representation in Austin, as well as other areas, and where the breakdown is that we need to address to get this 528 extension kind of moving along and see some type of a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. So I was looking at, as city council, we were going to meet in June, on June 6th, but I don't want this to be real rushed, but I do want us to get some really good facts and have that stuff prepared for us to make a really good decision and put some
I'll
timeline.
have Hunter look and see what dates are available. We've got some workshops already on the calendar, so we'll need to see what's available and work with engineering and make sure we get that.
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing, Mayor.
No?
No, sir.
No, sir.
You all previously read the email that I sent to Enru in reference to what is called the ugly corner. And so what I want us to do is to get off High Center. We can have a workshop, we can put it on the agenda, but we've got to come to an understanding of that project. It's been going on 10 years and nothing. And so either an agenda, put it on the agenda, or a workshop, just so we can move it forward and close it. Okay, there's another thing, just a small. I dislike calling it the ugly corner. And I have a reason for that. Back when I was a police officer, there was an explosion on that corner. Young man was burned 90% of his body. And I put him in the ambulance and I took him over to the hospital. And then we life flighted him out and then he passed away. And every time I hear this ugly corner, I see that gentleman. So if there's some other name we can think of, just something. But I just dislike hearing the ugly corner.
That gentleman was my uncle.
Yes, I wasn't going to say it, but that was Gabe's uncle.
Sure was.
So it was a rough one.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Did you have a preference of an agenda item or a workshop?
No, I'm just whatever fits best to get the issues where we talk it out and whatever's decided.
To even do anything.
Well, we have the issue, like we need to discuss about the caboose, and we need to discuss anything. So we get that moving, that's all. So if someone wants to run it, that's fine as the agenda, we do the agenda. Whatever works best.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then you might workshop and, I don't know, if you'll bring KAB into it since that's partly their baby too.
Workshop in July 2025.
Yeah.
We got a lot lined up already.
We'll make it work. We can do multiple.
Oh, that's right, huh?
multiple.
We can do multiple
Yeah.
things on workshop.
And then
Okay.
I was gonna talk to Paul anyway about sort of where Josh left off on the BNS approval, because I heard you just say that, Richard, or Councilman Garibay. And so I can get with Paul and kind of go through it and see, so that we can get a real time, because it's been a couple months now that Josh has been gone, and I know he followed up before he left, so we can get a real time idea of where we might be in that approval process.
Okay, thank you. All right, reports from the city manager?
Yes, Mayor and Council. The charter election is this Saturday, May 4th, from 7 to 7 p. at the Alvin Library. Also on the 4th is the Great Alvin Cleanup at the Alvin Community College Parking Lot Inn. On Thursday, May 16th, before the council meeting, we celebrate Alvin becoming a music-friendly certified city through the Texas Governor's Office of Economic Development and Tourism. This event will take place at the Alvin Depot from 5 to 6:30 p.m. There will be light refreshments, live music, and just good fellowship.
Or 5:30?
5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Oh, okay. I thought it was at 5:30. I'm sorry.
I might, did I tell you? I might have told you all 5:30. Oh, it said 5, okay.
That's fine.
The grand opening celebration for the Recreation Center is scheduled for May 18th. That's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we're looking forward to, it's been a long time coming. We're looking forward to opening the facility to the community. And last but not least, congratulations to Chief Lee for his appointment to the International Association of Chiefs of Police Policy and Council. I just wanted to make him blush. That's all I have, Mayor.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. Let's see, items of community interest. Councilman Starkey?
Yes, I want to congratulate and thank the Sunrise Rotary for the repairs that they're doing on the Briscoe Park after the music festival. They're really working hard to get that back in good shape and even better than it was before.
That's it? Okay, thank you.
I have nothing.
Nothing?
No, sir.
Nothing? Mr. Chavez, will you come introduce yourself to, we appointed you as our new Economic Development Director at the last council meeting, but I realized we didn't get you an opportunity to introduce yourself, so if you would, please introduce yourself to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Chavez. I am your new Economic Development Director for the City of Alvin. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope to bring a lot of my experiences working with the cities of Seabrook and Stafford and with the Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership. Bring all those experiences here to the City of Alvin to help us grow and maintain that growth, not only for our local community and business community, but also bringing a lot of those outside investors who are interested in finding the next new place to go for their investments and development, having them take a look at Alvin and making sure that, that we stay on that radar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is it like a prerequisite for EDC guys to have that deep baritone? Because Larry Bueller had that. Hello. Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Okay, next we are going to what?
Nothing, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I pulled a Paul. Hey. You got anything?
It's cake.
You got anything? Richard? No, okay. All right. Well, now we're going to go ahead and adjourn into executive session for two things. You guys are killing me. We're going to adjourn into executive session first for section 551.074 of the local government code for deliberation on the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. And item B, we're going to under section 551.071 subsection 1A of the local government code provides as follows: for the consultation with the city attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation or settlement offer. So it is 8:18 p.m. We're going to adjourn into executive session. 10:24. Actually, we're back in session at 10:24. No action, and we're adjourned at 10:24.